to our Journalist Hangout Weekend Special, which is on the federal government's aggressive drive to electrify unserved and underserved Nigerian communities through renewable and off-the-grid projects. Let's share Babajide Kolade Otitoju's story with you.
The Rural Electrification Agency was created by the Electric Power Sector Reform Act of 2006 to facilitate the provision of affordable supply of electricity in the rural and semi-rural areas of the country, targeting residential, commercial, industrial, and social activities in such areas. The agency is mandated to concentrate on providing off-grid solutions like mini-grids and solar home systems to rural dwellers. Before the advent of the Muhammadu Buhari administration, not so much was being done by the Rural Electrification Agency. Today, in line with the administration's goal to provide access to electricity for majority of the 80 million Nigerians who are currently without electricity in the next 10 years, the agency's projects have gathered tremendous pace. The goal is to deliver electricity to 72.7 million people through the 23,457 power grid projects, 7,882 mini-grids, and 14,117 solar home systems. President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically targeting policies and projects in the power sector, including optimizing the on-grid option as primary option for electricity access in the country by deploying renewable off-grid technologies to power Nigeria, one community at a time. The Supervisory Minister for the Rural Electrification Agency, Minister of State for Power, Jedi Agba, on the 30th of March 2021, inaugurated a 60 kilowatt power hybrid mini-grid power plant at the Obudu Mountain Resort and Ranch, in line with the presidential mandate to light up Nigeria's rural communities.
You know, the president is very much in love with the masses, and he has given us a marching order that start with what touches the masses first. And I too have that feeling that the masses should be first considered in everything, because they have nothing, nowhere else to go to. You and me could go to big hospitals. If I fall ill, I can go to ABU Teaching Hospital. Before you can go to UI, University College Hospital Ibadan. How many of the poor people can afford to go to UCH? Before they even reach there, if transport even to go to UCH from maybe even Ogbomoso, it's difficult, isn't it? But here, at least there's a dispensary he will go to. If he has a big cut, the dispenser will stitch it, even though he's not a surgeon. He will sew it and stop the bleeding at least before you go to a major hospital. That's the primary health. And I feel that is where we should start.
The minister also flagged off the 100 kilowatt power isolated mini grid at the Bottom Hill community of Obanliku, while urging the community to take full advantage of the clean and reliable energy. The minister stressed that the essence of the project was to change the socio-economic status of the Obudu people. Mr. Jedi Agba affirmed that REA is his baby, and he is committed to energizing rural communities and stimulating businesses in such areas. Ahmad Salihijo Ahmad is the Managing Director and Chief Executive of the Rural Electrification Agency, an engineer and advocate of renewable energy. Ahmad is a 2006 graduate of Electrical and Electronic Engineering from the University of Leeds. Ahmad's duty is to ensure that the robust solar power program of the Muhammadu Buhari administration, targeting agriculture, power, health, and other sectors, is properly implemented. I traveled to Abuja to have a conversation with Ahmad Salihijo Ahmad on his 5-year strategy of taking power to Nigeria's unserved and underserved communities.
So I've been personally to a few of our mini grids, and I can see that there has been a lot of acceptance from the community. So, and in some cases we have even had them come up with this Rural Electrification User Cooperative Society, where the community itself have a legally binding company that are working hand in hand with the developer to continue to maintain that mini grid.
Under the Energizing Education Program of REA, 37 federal universities and 7 university teaching hospitals are targeted. 180 interns from 9 universities shall be involved in the construction of 1,052 projects.
So initially the government went about this providing funding from its own budget for the first phase to provide power for 7 universities and 2 teaching hospitals here in the country, of course. So to that vein, the BUK that you just spoke about, UNILAG, University of Nigeria, and also Usman Danfodio University in Sokoto, FUAM in Makurdi, and a few others have currently been actually commissioned, including in FUPRE as well, Petroleum University in Delta, and also the FUNAI in Ebonyi State. So we have actually commissioned 5 of those projects, and they are fully functional as we currently speak. But once again, because of the success that we had in bringing those projects on board, what we found is that the World Bank and the African Development Bank now provided us with further support where they are taking up. So the World Bank has actually dedicated $105 million to build another 9 captive power plants for universities. 7 universities and 2 teaching hospitals.
Training of students to be part of the process of construction, maintenance, technique to run the plants is in line with REA's strategy of allowing private sector and community ownership of the plants as a way of guaranteeing sustainability.
This is clean, reliable power. You are able to use this power, to provide it to the unserved and underserved, while still keeping cognizance that these are all environmentally friendly products that we are using.
There are about 100 million Nigerians who are off the national grid. The Rural Electrification Agency's broad electrification effort seeks to reduce this staggering number by providing affordable, easily accessed, safe and efficient electricity supply to people in the rural areas especially.
We're able to do 12 mini grids, so just like what you saw here, we've done 12 across the country. We did in Ebonyi, in a Kawoke community, extremely rural community, just like Ogudu, where we commissioned. We did one in Katsina, in Batagarawa local government. We commissioned, and we've commissioned that one as well. We commissioned one in Bauchi. We commissioned another one in Ogun State, in a very thick forest. In fact, we had to drive 60 kilometers into the forest to commission that one in Oloji community. We commissioned another one in Edo, in Adebayo community in Edo. We commissioned another one in Oyo State.
The projects are classified into solar mini grids, solar home systems, solar street lighting, injection substations, and grid extension projects covering all the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. And whenever a community takes possession of a power plant, the joy of its residents knows no bounds. Development comes to a community, no matter how small that community is. It rejuvenates the people. It makes the people happy. It gives them greater confidence in the government of the day. Now the mini grid project that the Minister of State for Power has brought to the Bottom Hill community in Obudu has made the people happy, and all that they can ask for is more grace and more opportunities for the community to develop.
I think the beauty of it is that once the federal government, once they are doing something, getting it right, it's our responsibility to say, look, this is right, this is good, this is impacting people, and it's not our responsibility to just come and talk about insecurity and everything alone, despite the fact that it will always make news. But when you have little things, achievement that people are not talking about, these off-grid projects,
these are very, very big projects.
It will solve our mountainous
1,052 projects across Nigeria that this administration is doing.
Can you please, first of all, before we go further, just break it down so people might not understand what this off-grid project is all about?
Yes, off-grid projects are electricity projects like solar, it could be wind, you know, it could even be small hydros. What is meant by off-grid is the fact that the electricity is not sourced from the national grid.
That's the main problem.
Yes, it's not sourced from the national grid. So when people who are using public electricity supply from the national grid, when they don't have electricity, you have your own 24 hours. That is the beauty of it. It's not connected to the national grid. We have seen now that you can actually provide electricity for Nigerians without relying on the national grid. And when people begin to enjoy this, their own is more constant, it is safer, it is even cheaper to deliver.
Why can't we diversify and multiply it?
That is what they are now doing now. You know, you can, if you have some business clusters, you can actually give them renewable energy. And everyone, they will have constant electricity supply. It's reliable, it is clean. Because talking about globalization, the world does not want all these pollutions and the rest. And you know, gas-fired power plants will bring pollution, whether we like it or not. But this renewable energy is very clean, no noise. That is what this government is doing in federal institutions. 37 federal universities will get this electricity supply off the grid. Already they are enjoying it in Bayero University. That one is one of the biggest off-grid power projects in Africa.
So they are not going to be connected to
7.1 megawatts is what they are going to
give
Unilag, give
Ife. University of Ife.
And already some universities like the Federal University of Petroleum Engineering in Efurum, they already enjoying their own. The Federal University in Makurdi, they are already enjoying their own. There are many things that we see that this administration is doing that they are not making a lot of noise about it. The vice president,
nobody's talking about this.
Nobody is talking about and some of the people who try to show that they love the government. All that they can do is abuse other people. They can't even go out and find things. Projects that the government is
unique projects like this.
Yes, but they will go after people for saying the truth. You know, and you ask them, do those people do they even know what they are doing? The VP went to Kazaure in Jigawa State to launch the project meant to deliver electricity to 5 million homes. And is this kind of
arrangement?
Yes. Solar powered largely. 5 million homes. And they are now targeting communities that are, you know, many Nigerian communities are off the grid, though. They are not on the grid. So now it is those communities, they need money, they need this electricity to rejuvenate businesses in those places. So when you now go to give them light, look at Obudu, Cattle Ranch. For years they didn't have electricity.
That's the problem. And it has affected that business.
The Minister of State took this off-grid power project to the place. They now have it. Then the Bottom Hill community, the community at the base of the mountain, they also gave them. There's no way you see them doing things like this. As an individual, I'm encouraged to let Nigerians know that they are doing this. But when I criticize them, that's when you want to cut my head. When I say, tomato is this costly, you call me names because you don't know what you are doing. But this is what they are doing. We have to admit that they are doing something good.
This is very
and
nice.
If we can sustain this,
life,
this
economy,
is the future.
Employment,
Honestly,
everything.
this is the future.
Directly.
This is the future. You see some schools like, what's it called? Even Covenant University. Is this renewable energy that they are using?
You even said apart from supplying schools like Unilag, they're going to train.
They train the students. If you see the visuals, they train the students. When they get to a place, they will train the students. So the students will own the project. When there's any problem, the students can handle it themselves. So they deliver it to you, and then they hands off. They have they don't have enough staff to physically be coming to. The people that they have trained, more than 180 students, they are the ones who will now see. These are the people that they are training. They are the ones who will now take over the running. So the community will own the project. They have people within their ranks. I mean, this is
very noble by Minister of State for
power. That is the supervisory ministry. I mean, it's very laudable. And the president, he says something that the president doesn't like poor people to suffer. That's why the president has said 5 million homes. Those 5 million homes are largely not in urban centers. So they are the rural communities, places where there is some of them have not seen electricity in 200 years. They've never known anything like electricity. Now they are going to give them. So it's a good thing. When government does things like this, we have an obligation to let people know that this is what government has done. But when government also fails to do its responsibility, I as a person, I have an obligation to say you have not done this.
Our training.
Yes, that is by training. There's nothing anybody can do about that.
Wale, this is very nice, and
I think
I'm happy.
When the Vice President launched this program on April 11 last year in Jangile community, Kansauri Emirate, we thought many people thought it was not one of those paper works.
This year.
But I think, this year. I think months after, we are seeing a lot of something you can really be proud of. And to be very honest, in spite of all the limitations of the state, this is one of the best things that has ever come out of this country. Perhaps in the past 3 decades. Because for many communities, people cannot live there because there's no light. So this is going to reduce urban migration. More people will even move from urban areas to local areas.
Small-scale businesses
of course, it's going to industrialize local communities. It's going to create more jobs in local communities. It's going to reduce crime, because when people have jobs to do, why do they need to go into crime? It's going to improve agriculture, because there's a link between agriculture and electricity. So, and of course, this thing is also cost saving. You can imagine how much the University of Lagos used to spend on diesel. But with this now, Unilag will be able to save a lot of money. So I think it also reduces the monopoly of discos and gencos. It's a challenge to them. That if they don't live up, they may be overtaken by time. So I think this is quite impressive, and it's unfortunate millions of Nigerians are not even aware of this kind of project. It's quite commendable. When there are good projects, we need to be honest enough to say that they are very, they are very good. I think this is one of those striking projects that we need to commend. And
the interesting thing, I was speaking with Sanusi Ohere, and he told me that, look, even those local communities, they show a greater zeal to pay for electricity consumed than people in urban centers. He said because in the local areas, just the same way the MD, Salihijo, explained, said, because in the local areas they know themselves. So if your house is owing, people will be looking at you with
to be shameful.
So they pay. So the possibility of sustenance is guaranteed. And they know that you are not going to be in 1 year bill,
and it will be expensive
for electricity that is not used. They know that they are using it, and it's not expensive to put together. It's not if you must give people electricity from the grid. You know how expensive you run wires, you run this.
Estimated bill.
Yes. Look at a state look at Borno State. Borno State for almost 6 months now, they've not had electricity. Maiduguri has been in darkness. Boko Haram plunged them into darkness. We talked about, I met the Minister of State for Power. Minister of Power. Saleh Mama, I asked, I said, when are you going to restore light to Maiduguri? He told me that, yes, we have almost finished. They finished the thing. Boko Haram went back there, destroyed the transmission lines again. Now, for almost 6 months, since before the last allow, not this last allow, the one before the last, they've not had lights. You can imagine if they had this off-grid
arrangements.
Yes, definitely. They will look at how it's affecting business. You know, in that place with the heat, at the heat of the heat, the people
and the people that deployed their generator.
They went through fasting like that. They went through fasting inside darkness in Maiduguri because of Boko Haram. You know, you may not hear people talk about it, but that is the truth. They've not had light for almost 6 months. This is a fact. Now, whereas there is alternative to electricity from the grid,
that you only be needing that infrastructure that comes from.
You can imagine if we have it here in our place. You know how much we spend on diesel here. It is a big capex, whatever. Now, if we had it, we don't need anybody bringing a bill, estimated billing, huge billing that is just cut throat. You will see what you are using, your electricity. You see the facility, and you know what you are paying for.
This will also create employment.
Of course.
Youth employment.
Of course. It's going to radicalize
for the engineers, for
the economy of local communities. And it's not restricted to one particular geopolitical zone. It's in the 6 geopolitical zones. So I think it's quite impressive. Quite impressive.
I want to say congratulations to the Minister of Power, Minister of State for Power, the guys behind this entire project.
And the young man who is the Managing Director of Rural Electrification Agency. Ahmad Salihijo Ahmad and all his team.
Brilliant guys.
Yes, they are doing fantastic job.
We want them to tell Nigerians more about what you're doing. We want Nigerians to know.
We, or someone like me, even where those things, where people do not know that certain good things are happening, we go there. People were shocked to know that the governor of Kano already had a facility for Fulani herdsmen. They don't need to go all the way to suffer themselves to the south. And everything that they need is put in there. Nigerians didn't know. I had to go there. So these good things that will make Nigeria a better place, wherever our government is doing it, we have an obligation to announce it to the world. We don't just come and criticize government. We criticize them when they deserve to be criticized. There's nothing they can do about that one. It's our job. We criticize them.
We talk
about but where they do something good, even if the people in charge of their publicity are not doing enough to announce to the world, we will help them. We will help them to let the world know that these people are doing this. This is our job. This is what we commit to doing. But to imagine that we will keep quiet when things are going wrong, no. You are wasting your time. If you think that someone like me called Otitoju will sit down and button up his lips when bad things happen, no, it won't happen.
We criticize you when you need to be criticized. I will be your vuvuzela when you need to be your vuvuzela.
When you do something good, I will stand on the mountain top to announce to people that see what this government has done.
This is good. Wale,
he lives by his name. Truth is the greatest.
Wale, thank you for your contribution in the last 120 minutes. Thank you. It's really interesting down here. And Jide, thank you for another wonderful compilation. Sunday, anytime we are bringing together this Sunday special, it's always very, very challenging.
And we are grateful to Captain Siddiq for spicing up.
Yes, you actually made this Sunday.
The excitement of Nigerians is greater.
They understand what's the arrival.
We have a killing machine.
Yes, Super Tucano.
All those bandits
come.
Do you know that this city bandits came to Maraban Jos? If you can get to Maraban Jos, it's like you have entered Kaduna. Because Maraban Jos is after Jaji. So what you can trek from Maraban Jos into Kaduna town. They came to Maraban Jos. So the earlier we finish them off, the better.
They will hear from the super Tucanos and governments.
Tucano will serve you the justice.
Yes, so we'll take you to your
language that you understand. Tucano will speak to you in that language.